Esther, the hidden queen who saved a nation. The Book of Esther, Esther 1:10, a king's wrath and a queen's defiance. The air in the grand banquet hall of King Ahasuerus was thick with the scent of spiced wine and roasted meats. Gold goblets clinked, laughter rose in boisterous waves, and the king, drunk on both power and wine, lounged on his throne, surveying his opulent kingdom. This was the height of Persia's might, 127 provinces under his rule, from India to Ethiopia. But pride often precedes a fall. With a reckless grin, the king summoned his most prized possession, Queen Vashti, his beautiful wife, to parade before his drunken nobles. Yet, when the command reached her, Vashti did the unthinkable. She refused. Gasps echoed through the palace. No one defied the king. Ahasuerus' face darkened with fury. "What shall be done to the queen for this insult?" he roared. His advisors trembled. If word spread that a woman could disobey her husband, every wife in Persia might follow suit. The verdict was swift. Vashti would be banished forever. But the king's anger soon gave way to loneliness. Who would replace his beautiful queen? The orphan girl who became a queen. Enter Esther, a young Jewish orphan raised by her wise cousin Mordecai in the Persian capital of Susa. Beautiful, humble, and obedient, she was among the many virgins gathered for the king's search for a new queen. Under Mordecai's instruction, Esther kept her Jewish identity hidden. For months, she underwent beauty treatments in the royal harem, preparing for her one night with the king. And when her turn came, she captivated him. The king loved Esther more than all the other women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins. So he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Esther 2 verse 17. But danger lurked in the shadows. Chapter 2. A plot uncovered, a fate sealed. Mordecai, ever watchful, overheard 2 royal guards conspiring to assassinate the king. He warned Esther, who alerted Ahasuerus in Mordecai's name. The traitors were hanged, and the event was recorded in the royal chronicles. Yet, no reward came to Mordecai. Meanwhile, the king promoted Haman the Agagite, a proud, cruel man, to the highest position in the kingdom. All bowed before him, except Mordecai. "Why do you disobey the king's command?" Officials demanded. Mordecai's reply was firm. "I am a Jew." Haman's fury burned. Not only would he destroy Mordecai, he would annihilate every Jew in Persia. Chapter 3. A decree of death. Haman deceived the king, painting the Jews as a rebellious people who followed their own laws. Without hesitation, Ahasuerus handed over his signet ring. Letters were sent by couriers into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to annihilate all the Jews, young and old, little children and women, in one day. Esther 3 verse 13. The kingdom trembled. The Jews wept. Mordecai tore his clothes and put on sackcloth, wailing at the palace gates. When Esther heard, she sent him fresh robes, but he refused. Instead, he sent a chilling message. "Do not think in your heart that you will escape in the king's palace any more than all the other Jews. For if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. Yet who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Esther 4 verses 13 to 14. Esther's heart pounded. To approach the king unsummoned was punishable by death. But if she stayed silent, her people would die. Chapter 4. If I perish, I perish. After 3 days of fasting, Esther dressed in her royal robes and stood in the king's inner court. When Ahasuerus saw her, he extended his golden scepter. She would live. "What is your request, Queen Esther?" "It shall be given to you, up to half my kingdom." Esther 5 verse 3. But Esther was cunning. Instead of pleading immediately, she invited the king and Haman to a private banquet. Flattered, Haman left in triumph, until he saw Mordecai, still refusing to bow. His wife and friends whispered, "Build a gallows 75 feet high, and ask the king to hang Mordecai on it." Haman grinned. Tomorrow would be a good day. Chapter 5. The sleepless king and the reversal of fate. That night, the king could not sleep. He ordered the royal records read aloud, and was reminded of Mordecai's unrewarded loyalty. At that very moment, Haman entered to request Mordecai's execution. "What should be done for the man the king delights to honor?" Ahasuerus asked. Thinking himself the man, Haman suggested royal robes, a parade on the king's horse, and a proclamation of honor. The king's eyes gleamed. "Do so for Mordecai the Jew." Haman's face paled. Chapter 6. The Queen's Triumph. At Esther's second banquet, she finally revealed her plea. "If I have found favor in your sight, O king, Let my life be given to me at my petition, and my people at my request. For we have been sold, I and my people, to be destroyed. Esther 7 verses 3-4. The king's rage flared. Who is he? Where is he? Esther pointed. The adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. Haman fell to his knees, begging, but it was too late. The king roared, and guards seized him. Hang him on the gallows he built for Mordecai. Victory and the feast of Purim. Mordecai was promoted, and a new decree went out. The Jews could defend themselves. On the appointed day, they triumphed over their enemies. To commemorate their deliverance, Esther and Mordecai established Purim, a festival of joy and remembrance. These days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, the month which was turned from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a holiday. Esther 9 verses 28 and 22. And so, the hidden queen who risked everything became the savior of her people, proving that even in darkness, courage can change destiny. A great story. So let's talk about what we can learn from Queen Esther's story, no matter how young or old we are. 1. God has a plan for you, even when you don't see it. Esther was just a girl, but God used her to do something big. 2. Being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means you trust God even when you are scared. That's real courage. 3. You're not in your position by accident. Esther was queen for a reason. And wherever you are right now, at work, at home, online, God can use you there. 4. Pray first. Always. Esther didn't rush into action. She prayed, fasted, and waited on God. 5. You're never too small to make a big difference. God can use anyone, yes, even you, to do great things. If this story encouraged you, drop a love emoji in the comments and let me know what stood out for you. Also, please hit that subscribe button, because we're going to keep diving into more beautiful Bible stories that grow your faith and remind you just how powerful God's love really is. Shalom.